In the summer of 1978, a joyful family celebration in sunny Santa Monica turns into every parent's worst nightmare when 4-year-old Lily Hudson mysteriously disappears without a trace. Despite relentless searches, the case goes cold, leaving her family devastated. 25 years later, Lily's father, Adam Hudson, haunted by loss and unanswered questions, stumbles upon an album cover featuring a young woman whose face he instantly recognizes. Could this singer, known as Eva Sinclair, truly be his lost daughter? It was a golden afternoon in June of 1978. Santa Monica Beach stretched endlessly under the California sun, the horizon painted with streaks of orange and purple as twilight approached. The Hudson family's beach house, nestled right at the edge of the sand, bustled with preparations for a special occasion. Adam Hudson's 30th birthday. Adam stood on the wide, sunlit deck overlooking the ocean, his dark curly hair neatly styled, and his signature sunglasses reflecting the last of the afternoon's rays. The gentle breeze carried scents of salt water, grilled food, and nostalgia, wrapping around him like an old, comforting friend. Beside him, his daughter Lily, barely 4 years old, jumped excitedly, her tiny feet tapping rhythmically on the wooden deck. "Daddy, can we see the dolphins again today?" she asked, her eyes wide and filled with innocent wonder. Adam laughed warmly, kneeling to look directly into his daughter's face, pushing his sunglasses up to reveal eyes sparkling with tenderness. "We'll keep our eyes wide open, sweetheart. If the dolphins show up, I'll bet they're coming, especially to say happy birthday to me," Adam replied playfully. Lily giggled, her curly hair bouncing as she hugged him tightly. She wore her favorite pair of denim overalls and a pastel-colored sweater chosen specially by her mother for the evening. "Come inside, you two," called Melissa, Adam's wife, from the open sliding doors leading to the living room. Melissa had an elegant beauty, gentle, poised, her smile calm and reassuring. Her eyes always held a quiet strength that had anchored Adam since they'd first met. Tonight, she wore a flowing floral dress that billowed gracefully with her every move. The inside of the house vibrated with activity. Guests had started arriving, dressed in vibrant colors and fashions typical of late 70s California: bell-bottom jeans, floral shirts, flowing dresses, platform shoes. The sound of classic rock music mixed harmoniously with bursts of laughter and lively chatter. Melissa skillfully coordinated preparations, guiding caterers, carrying platters of hors d'oeuvres, while warmly greeting friends and family arriving through the front door. Lily ran through the living room excitedly, stopping occasionally to hug familiar legs or receive affectionate pats on her head. The atmosphere was warm and inviting, a perfect reflection of Adam's own friendly and charismatic personality. From across the room, Adam noticed his closest friend and business partner, Robert Morgan. Robert was tall and well-dressed, exuding an air of confident sophistication. Though they had been friends since high school, Adam sometimes caught fleeting glances from Robert, glances tinged with envy, subtle yet unmistakable. Tonight, Robert was quieter than usual, his smile slightly forced as he sipped his drink and observed Adam's interactions with the guests. "Robert," Adam called enthusiastically, approaching him with open arms. "Thanks for being here, man." Robert's eyes flickered briefly before settling into a practiced smile. "Of course, I wouldn't miss it," he said smoothly. "Big 3, yo. How does it feel?" "Honestly, never better," Adam replied with genuine happiness. "Life's been good to me. Great career, wonderful wife, and Lily. She's my world, you know." Robert's eyes drifted momentarily toward Lily, who was dancing joyously with other children near the stereo. A brief shadow crossed his expression, almost imperceptibly. "You're a lucky man, Adam," Robert said softly. His voice carried a hidden depth that Adam couldn't fully decipher. "Sometimes luck runs out, though. You know how life is." Before Adam could respond, Melissa gently interrupted them. "Honey, cake's ready. Time for you to blow out your candles." The deck was illuminated by lanterns and softly glowing string lights as guests gathered around a large table adorned with Adam's birthday cake. The ocean murmured quietly in the background, serenading the party with its rhythmic waves. Lily stood on a chair beside Adam, her eyes dancing with excitement. Adam closed his eyes, savoring the moment. With a deep breath, he blew out all 30 candles, followed by cheers, laughter, and clapping. Lily immediately threw her arms around him. "Did you wish for the dolphins, Daddy?" "I wished for something even better," he whispered lovingly, kissing the top of her curly hair. After cake, the festivities grew louder. Adam found himself deep in conversation, drifting between clusters of friends and family, absorbing the joy and warmth of the night. Melissa joined him briefly, sharing gentle touches and knowing smiles. The love they shared was evident, tangible, something all their guests could feel deeply. As the evening stretched on, Adam scanned the room, noticing the quiet absence of Lily's laughter. A pang of anxiety briefly flickered within him. "Have you seen Lily?" Adam asked Melissa softly, masking his sudden nervousness. "She was just here." Melissa's eyes narrowed as she scanned the room. "I'll check upstairs." Adam moved quickly, searching through rooms now filled with music, laughter, and conversation. His heart pounded faster as each room yielded no sign of his daughter. His casual smile faded completely as minutes passed. He opened the sliding doors and stepped onto the deck, his voice breaking slightly as he called, "Lily?" No answer. The guests sensed the growing tension, and conversations gradually fell silent as everyone realized something was wrong. "Lily," Adam called louder, panic creeping unmistakably into his tone. Friends and family scattered around the property, shouting her name into the night, their voices echoing against the darkness of the ocean. Melissa emerged from upstairs, face pale, shaking her head with growing fear. Adam sprinted down toward the sand, his breathing heavy, pulse hammering. The usually calming ocean now felt dark and ominous, its waves whispering a troubling secret. Frantically, he searched the shadows along the shoreline, calling Lily's name desperately. His feet slowed to a stunned halt as something small and pale caught his eye near the water's edge. Kneeling in the cold, damp sand, Adam's hands trembled as he lifted the small white shoe, its tiny buckle reflecting dimly in the faint moonlight. A scream, raw with anguish, caught in his throat. He staggered to his feet, staring numbly at the endless expanse of black ocean. The guests gathered slowly around him, expressions stricken with dread, no words sufficient to soothe the moment. Melissa reached Adam's side, gripping his arm tightly, her voice trembling. "Adam, what happened?" His eyes remained fixed on the little shoe. "She's gone." The words hung heavy, unbearable. The joyous party atmosphere shattered entirely, replaced by palpable terror. Voices whispered urgently. Someone ran toward the phone to call the police. Adam stood motionless, feeling every joyous moment from the evening cruelly evaporate into darkness, as if the ocean had cruelly snatched happiness itself away from him. The guests formed an anxious, silent circle around Adam and Melissa, their faces illuminated dimly by the scattered lanterns, fear evident in every expression. Only one face remained partially obscured in shadow: Robert Morgan's. His eyes were narrowed, watching Adam intently from the distance, his expression unreadable, complex, yet strangely composed amid the surrounding chaos. Adam stared back into the darkness of the sea, feeling the weight of uncertainty and dread crashing over him. The tiny shoe still clutched helplessly in his hand, Lily Hudson had vanished, swallowed by the night, leaving behind only silence, confusion, and the cruel whisper of waves against the shore. In the aftermath of Lily's disappearance, life at the Hudson household changed dramatically. The cheerful beach house that once echoed with laughter and music became unbearably silent, haunted by memories of the child who'd filled it with warmth. The morning after Lily vanished, the house was flooded with police officers and investigators. Adam sat motionless at the dining table, eyes swollen and vacant, his hands still trembling slightly. Melissa sat next to him, eyes red and distant, clutching Lily's stuffed rabbit tightly to her chest, as if holding it could somehow bring her child home. Detective Samuel Nash arrived early that morning. He was in his mid-30s, a practical man with soft but observant eyes. He'd handled missing persons cases before, but something about Lily's disappearance deeply unsettled him. "Mr. and Mrs. Hudson," Nash said gently, "I know this is difficult, but I need you to recount exactly what happened last night." Adam's voice cracked as he recounted the evening, every detail painfully etched into his mind. He described the party, Lily's laughter, and the moment he realized she was gone. Melissa, silent at first, soon broke down into sobs, unable to complete her own retelling. Adam reached for her hand, squeezing gently as his own tears blurred his vision. Detective Nash listened carefully, scribbling notes, occasionally glancing at the distraught couple with genuine empathy. Days turned into weeks, each passing hour more agonizing than the last. Flyers bearing Lily's smiling face appeared across Santa Monica, and neighbors joined search parties that combed the beaches, parks, and neighborhoods tirelessly. Yet every lead ended in disappointment, each hopeful citing a false alarm. Adam refused to return to work, rarely left the beach house, and spent hours pacing the deck overlooking the ocean. The sound of waves, once soothing, now seemed like a cruel whisper mocking his pain. Every evening he would walk down to the shore, eyes scanning the sands desperately, searching for clues the police may have overlooked. Melissa, drowning in her grief, gradually distanced herself. Conversations between them dwindled into strained silences. She couldn't bear the house, each corner filled with painful reminders. She spent her days at her sister's home, away from the constant agony of unanswered questions. One afternoon, Adam knelt by the water's edge, slowly picking up a tiny, half-buried shell, imagining Lily's small fingers around it. He placed it gently into his pocket beside countless other objects, a colorful pebble, a rusted key, a broken piece of jewelry. In his mind, every single item held the potential to unlock the unbearable mystery. Detective Nash visited regularly, trying his best to maintain hope, though the look in his eyes slowly became apologetic rather than optimistic. "We've checked and rechecked all the witness statements," Nash told Adam gently one afternoon. "No unusual sightings, no suspicious persons seen near the house. We've interviewed everyone multiple times." Adam stared at him, desperation etched deeply into his exhausted features. "What about Robert Morgan?" Adam asked suddenly. "He seemed strange that night." Nash paused, thoughtful. "Morgan has an alibi. Multiple guests placed him clearly inside the house at the time Lily vanished. Still, I'll look again." But even that small hope faded quickly when Robert was cleared once more. Nash returned again, visibly troubled, clearly frustrated at the investigation's lack of progress. "We've explored every possible lead. The ocean currents, they could have carried her." Nash's voice broke quietly. "We have to consider—" "No," Adam interrupted firmly. His voice shook with barely contained anger and grief. "She's not in that ocean. Lily's alive. I know it." Melissa, listening from the next room, felt something inside her crumble completely. The strength she'd clung to fractured. The gulf between her and Adam widened daily, becoming impossible to bridge. They became like strangers in their own home, each lost in solitary grief. Months passed, and visitors stopped coming. Friends, unsure of how to offer comfort, gradually retreated. The once bustling home was now an island of loneliness. The vibrant man Adam once was disappeared, replaced by a shadow, a ghost pacing the empty halls. Driven only by his obsession, one rainy evening, nearly a year after Lily's disappearance, Melissa stood by the front door, suitcase in hand. Her eyes held a sadness that went beyond tears. Adam watched her silently, his heart numb. "I can't do this anymore." "Adam," she whispered, barely audible above the rain. "Every time I look at you, every time I'm here, it just hurts too much." Adam felt the words stab him sharply. Yet he nodded slowly. He understood her pain because it mirrored his own. "Melissa," he whispered, voice raw, "I will find her. I promise." She gave him a final sorrowful look, stepped outside into the rain, and walked away, leaving Adam truly alone. Days blended into months, then years. Adam remained at the beach house, his life stripped down to the solitary act of searching. Friends and family occasionally tried reaching out, gently suggesting he should move on, but he always rejected the idea fiercely. He couldn't abandon Lily, couldn't accept that she was gone. Detective Nash retired eventually, haunted by Lily's case, a painful scar on his conscience. He occasionally checked on Adam, saddened by the man he'd become, trapped in grief. Unable to escape, Adam's collection of tiny, random objects from the beach grew steadily. His study became a shrine to his daughter, a tapestry of fragmented hopes pinned to walls and tables, each piece a silent prayer. One particular evening, 5 years since Lily's disappearance, Adam stood on the familiar beach at sunset, staring silently at the ocean. His hair had grayed prematurely, his face worn from exhaustion and persistent sorrow. The orange sky reflected vividly in his tired eyes. He reached into his pocket, pulling out a small white seashell, smooth, almost glowing under the dying sun. Tears streamed silently down his cheeks. He held the shell tightly, his knuckles white, chest aching with a familiar grief that never faded. "You're out there, Lily," he whispered into the wind, voice thick with sorrow but unwaveringly determined. "I know you are. Daddy will never stop searching." The waves crashed gently onto the shore, washing over his feet, almost responding to his quiet promise. Adam remained there as the sky darkened slowly, the stars emerging quietly overhead, as if bearing witness to his unwavering dedication. He watched until the last traces of sunlight disappeared completely, swallowed by darkness. And still he stood, unable to walk away. Deep down, Adam knew many had given up friends, family, even Melissa, but he refused. He would stay. He would keep searching. Because somewhere, hidden in the vast, unfeeling world, Lily was waiting out as night took hold completely. Adam turned back towards his empty home, each step heavy with sorrow and loneliness, but also determination. He would never rest, never stop hoping. The chapter closed with Adam standing alone on the deck, staring at the distant waves, now barely visible in the faint starlight. The ocean whispered endlessly, and Adam listened, imagining its secrets might one day bring Lily home. Even now, in the depth of his pain, Adam Hudson made a solemn promise to himself beneath the silent stars and the whispering waves. He would never give up, never. 25 years had changed everything, yet nothing at all. Adam Hudson was now a man in his mid-50s, though he appeared even older, worn down by endless grief and solitude. He lived in a small, cluttered apartment on the outskirts of Los Angeles, a far cry from the vibrant beach house in Santa Monica. His apartment was dimly lit, sparsely furnished, and scattered with stacks of papers, newspaper clippings, and faded photographs of Lily, now brittle with age. The walls were covered with pinboards, each filled with scribbled notes, pieces of string connecting them in a web of confusion and desperation. Adam's days began and ended with the same painful ritual. He would sit at his kitchen table, sipping black coffee in silence, staring at Lily's picture. In the photo, Lily's joyful expression forever remained that of a carefree 4-year-old, unaware of the cruel world ahead. Adam's once dark curls had faded to silver. His face, deeply lined, revealed decades of endless searching and disappointment. He had distanced himself from nearly everyone he once knew. Melissa had remarried years ago and moved on with her life, leaving Adam alone with his unresolved grief. Friends had drifted away, exhausted by his relentless obsession. Even Detective Nash, who occasionally checked in, could do little to lift Adam from his isolation. Adam rarely ventured out, but occasionally, when memories overwhelmed him, he visited small record shops around the city. Music still held echoes of happier times, remnants of a past life filled with promise and family. One rainy afternoon, Adam stepped into a small vintage record store hidden away in a forgotten alley. The dimly lit space smelled of dust and nostalgia, filled with racks of vinyl records from bygone eras. Adam browsed quietly, flipping through albums without much interest, until one cover made him freeze completely. His heartbeat quickened, breath caught painfully in his throat. His hands shook violently as he stared at the album titled Running Chances. A woman's face dominated the cover, soft, curly hair framing eyes he recognized instantly. Even 25 years later, he knew those eyes. They were Lily's eyes. Adam's knees felt weak, the room spinning around him as he clutched the album tightly. His vision blurred with tears, his body trembling uncontrollably. He gasped softly, fighting a wave of emotion so powerful he nearly collapsed. "Sir, are you okay?" asked a young store clerk, stepping forward cautiously. Adam couldn't respond. He stared, transfixed, unable to tear his gaze from the woman's face. He managed a shaky nod, paid quickly, and stumbled out of the store into the drizzling rain, clutching the album protectively to his chest as if it could vanish at any second. Back at his apartment, Adam set the record carefully on his table, his hands still trembling. He sat, breathing heavily, heart hammering against his chest. Slowly, reverently, he examined every detail of the cover. The woman, Eva Sinclair, according to the small print, was clearly an adult, yet the resemblance to Lily was undeniable. The curve of her smile, the gentle warmth in her eyes, all mirrored the daughter he had lost. The album was dated 2 years earlier, released quietly by a minor label from New Orleans. Adam carefully placed the record on his turntable. As the needle touched the vinyl, soft, melancholy music filled the room. And then came the voice, a voice that cut through Adam's heart like a blade, beautiful and hauntingly familiar. He listened, eyes closed tightly, tears streaming silently down his cheeks. Ava's lyrics spoke of confusion, loss, forgotten memories, fragments of a past she could not fully grasp. Adam felt his heart tearing open anew. It was Lily's voice. It had to be. Every instinct in him screamed the truth. Consumed by urgency, Adam spent the next few days buried in relentless research, barely sleeping or eating. He collected everything he could find about Eva Sinclair. Information was sparse. Eva kept a low profile, rarely granting interviews. But one thing was consistent. She had grown up in New Orleans, raised by a woman named Vivian Reed, a former jazz singer who'd retreated from public life decades earlier. Late one night, as rain pounded against his window, Adam discovered an obscure newspaper article from years before. It briefly mentioned Ava's adoption under unclear circumstances and Vivian's refusal to discuss Ava's past. The words struck Adam like lightning, filling him with a mix of rage, hope, and desperation. He printed the article, pinning it carefully on his already crowded wall, red strings connecting it immediately to other notes. Every piece fit perfectly. The mysterious adoption, Ava's uncertain past, the woman named Vivian. Adam knew he had found the key to the truth. He stood before the wall of clues, breathing heavily. His heart burned with a renewed sense of purpose, anger boiling beneath his grief. For the first time in 25 years, he had something tangible, something real. Eva Sinclair was Lily. She had to be. He picked up his phone, dialing a familiar number. "Hello?" came a sleepy voice. It was Detective Nash, now retired, but still haunted by Lily's case. "Samuel," Adam spoke urgently, "I found her. I found Lily." Nash hesitated. "Adam, we've been here before." "No," Adam cut him off sharply. "This time, it's real. She's in New Orleans." Vivian Reed raised her. "She's been hiding there all this time." Silence filled the line briefly before Nash answered, voice cautious yet intrigued. "You're certain?" "More certain than I've ever been," Adam insisted, voice breaking with emotion. "It's her, Samuel. I heard her sing. I saw her face. It's my Lily." Nash sighed softly. "Be careful, Adam. Don't let hope blind you." Adam hung up slowly, Nash's warning fading quickly in his mind. Hope was the only thing he had left, and now it burned brighter than ever. The next morning, Adam sat in front of his computer, purchasing a one-way plane ticket to New Orleans. His hands shook slightly, his determination unwavering. He had waited 25 years for answers. He would not wait another moment. As he packed, he paused briefly at the small white seashell resting on his bedside table, the same shell he'd found decades ago. He held it gently, whispering softly, "I'm coming, Lily. Daddy's finally coming to bring you home." He placed the shell carefully into his pocket, picked up his suitcase, and stepped outside. Los Angeles was bathed in the golden glow of early morning, sunlight warming his face as he took his first step toward the truth. As Adam boarded the plane, the hum of the engines filled his ears, drowning out the doubts and fears lingering within him. His pulse quickened, anticipation mixed with fear as the plane lifted off into the sky. Looking through the window at the clouds below, Adam's eyes filled again with tears, but this time they held something new hope. He closed his eyes, picturing Lily's smile, the sound of her laughter, and the music that had awakened his heart from a 25-year sleep. "Hang on, Lily," he whispered softly, his voice carrying an unshakable promise. "Daddy's almost there." The plane soared forward, carrying Adam toward New Orleans, toward Eva Sinclair, Vivian Reed, and finally, toward answers that had remained hidden for far too long. 25 years of silence had finally broken, and Adam Hudson was determined to never let silence separate him from his daughter again. New Orleans, Louisiana, -2003. The sultry heat of New Orleans lingered through the narrow, cobblestone streets of the French Quarter, illuminated by soft glimmers of vintage lanterns. The city breathed jazz, mystery, and whispered secrets in every corner. Eva Sinclair had grown up here, an elegant yet enigmatic woman whose reputation had quietly blossomed within New Orleans' artistic underground. She was slender, graceful, with gentle features framed by soft curls, her eyes holding a melancholy depth no one fully understood. Her presence, captivating yet reserved, drew people near, even as her guarded heart kept everyone at arm's length. Ava had spent her life with Vivian Reed, a former jazz singer whose fame had faded decades earlier. Vivian raised Ava with tenderness yet strict secrecy, shielding her from a past Ava could neither recall nor question. Every inquiry Eva made about her early life was swiftly, gently deflected by Vivian, leaving her with a deep sense of incompleteness, a void reflected in her haunting melodies. Ava lived in a small, charming apartment above an old bookstore. Her space was simple yet comforting, scattered with vintage furniture, old vinyl records, and notebooks filled with scribbled lyrics. Each song she wrote echoed emotions and fragments of memories she couldn't quite grasp, a life she felt but could never fully recall. Her days consisted of quiet mornings spent writing and evenings performing in intimate, dimly lit jazz clubs around town. Though she rarely interacted personally with the crowd, her music spoke deeply to those who heard it, resonating with loss, longing, and mystery. Tonight, Eva prepared for a special performance at the Velvet Lounge, a beloved hidden jazz club nestled discreetly in the heart of the French Quarter. She dressed simply a vintage white dress, her curls loose around her shoulders, a delicate golden pendant around her neck, an object she'd worn since childhood without ever knowing why. Across the city, Adam Hudson walked nervously toward the Velvet Lounge. His pulse quickened as he approached, anxiety swirling within him. He had waited 25 years to see Lily again, now Eva Sinclair, the mysterious singer whose face had awakened the dormant memories within him. His hands trembled as he stepped inside. The club was small, illuminated gently by candlelight and dim chandeliers. Patrons whispered softly, sipping cocktails, awaiting the singer who had become their hidden treasure. Adam took a seat near the back, his heart thudding painfully against his chest. He scanned the stage anxiously, gripping his chair tightly. Breath shallow, eyes wide with anticipation and fear. Then she appeared. Eva stepped quietly onto the small stage, bathed softly in warm golden light. Adam's breathing stopped entirely. He stared, unable to move or blink, as memories crashed over him, 1,000 emotions overwhelming him at once. Eva sat at the piano, fingers delicately brushing the keys. Her voice, soft yet achingly powerful, filled the room instantly. Adam felt as though every word she sang was meant for him, lyrics woven from threads of confusion, forgotten faces, lost places, and distant oceans. She began to sing her signature song, Lost Waves, a piece she'd written from dreams vague. Images of an ocean, a beach house, familiar voices just out of reach. Adam's heart clenched painfully as he recognized scenes from their last evening together. The ocean waves, her tiny white shoe left abandoned on the shore. The song told Adam everything he needed to know. Eva was Lily. It had to be. Emotion surged violently within Adam, his vision blurred with tears. He gripped the table tightly, jaw clenched, desperate not to lose control in the crowded room. Every note Eva sang tore deeper into his wounded heart, unlocking years of pain, hope, and unresolved grief. Eva sang with eyes closed, deeply immersed in her performance. But suddenly, an inexplicable feeling brushed over her like a whisper from a distant past. Her heart fluttered strangely, distracting her slightly. She opened her eyes carefully, scanning the crowd with an unusual urgency. Adam watched her face intently, unable to breathe, unwilling to move. Then their eyes met. Time seemed to slow, then stop entirely. Eva's voice faltered slightly, a note trembling gently. She stared into the eyes of the stranger at the back of the room, a man whose gaze felt both unfamiliar and hauntingly known. Her chest tightened inexplicably, memories hovering just beyond reach. She fought to maintain her composure, finishing the song quietly as applause filled the room. Eva stood, bowing quickly, heart pounding with confusion. She stepped hurriedly from the stage, retreating to the private room backstage, breath uneven, overwhelmed by an emotion she could neither name nor understand. Adam remained seated, unable to move, eyes still locked where Eva had stood moments earlier. He knew, without a shred of doubt, that Eva Sinclair was his lost daughter, Lily. His mind raced chaotically, 1,000 questions screaming simultaneously within him. Eva, trembling slightly backstage, poured herself a glass of water, trying to calm the unexplained turmoil within her. Vivian appeared quietly, noticing Eva's distress instantly. "What's wrong, Eva?" Vivian asked gently, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. Eva shook her head, voice barely above a whisper, eyes filled with quiet confusion. "I saw someone out there, Vivian. A man ... I feel like I know him, but I don't understand how." Vivian's eyes flickered nervously, though she masked it quickly, offering a reassuring smile. "You're tired, sweetheart. Maybe it's just the lights playing tricks." Eva nodded slowly, unconvinced. The feeling lingered, powerful and undeniable, a feeling she couldn't shake. Meanwhile, Adam stumbled out of the club, breathless, heart overwhelmed. He leaned heavily against the brick wall outside, the night air cool against his flushed skin. He pressed a shaking hand against his chest, fighting tears, fighting to regain composure. Detective Nash's cautious voice echoed in Adam's memory. "Be careful, don't let hope blind you." But Adam no longer cared about caution. He had heard her voice, seen her face, felt the truth deep within his bones. Eva Sinclair was Lily Hudson. His daughter was alive, and now only a few feet away, hidden behind the fragile barriers of secrets and lost memories. He knew confronting her directly at that moment was impossible. He had to learn more, to unravel the threads surrounding Vivian Reed, whose name now echoed suspiciously in his mind. Adam felt certain she held the truth, keys to the painful mystery that had defined his life. Determined, Adam turned toward the darkened streets, knowing his next step was to face Vivian, to demand answers from the woman who had raised Eva in shadows. He would not allow any more secrets, no more silence. It was time for answers. Back inside, Eva sat quietly, still shaken by the encounter. She touched the pendant around her neck softly, feeling its familiar weight, comforted yet troubled by its unknown meaning. Her entire life had been built on vague dreams, whispered secrets, and Vivian's carefully guarded silence. But tonight had shattered something within her, stirring memories she didn't even know existed. Eva stood, resolved. She needed answers, and somehow she knew that the mysterious man whose eyes had pierced her soul tonight held the key. Outside, beneath the gentle glow of the streetlights, Adam moved forward into the darkness, heart blazing with newfound hope and determination. He would find the truth. He would reclaim Lily, no matter the cost. Inside the club, Eva stared into the mirror, heart aching with inexplicable longing. She knew her past was about to unravel, truths hidden beneath layers of silence finally ready to emerge. Their eyes had met. Recognition had stirred. Destiny had finally awakened. Nothing would ever be the same again. The morning sun peeked through heavy curtains, illuminating Adam Hudson's restless face as he sat hunched over a cluttered hotel desk. His eyes were bloodshot, surrounded by scattered documents, photographs, and newspaper clippings. He hadn't slept since leaving the Velvet Lounge, consumed entirely by the mystery surrounding Eva Sinclair and the enigmatic woman who had raised her, Vivian Reed. Adam traced every available piece of Vivian's history, spending hours piecing together fragments from old archives, local records, and faded newspaper articles. Vivian had been a prominent jazz singer in the 1960s, celebrated briefly before fading into obscurity. Her retreat from the public eye aligned suspiciously with the exact period when Eva appeared in her life. Adam's instincts screamed that Vivian held answers crucial to unraveling 25 years of pain. He picked up the phone, dialing a familiar number. Nash, the retired detective's voice, answered cautiously. "Samuel, it's Adam. I need your help. I found her, my Lily. She goes by Eva Sinclair now. Vivian Reed raised her here in New Orleans." Silence lingered momentarily. "Are you certain about this, Adam?" "Absolutely," Adam said, determination hardening his voice. "Vivian knows everything. I'm confronting her today, and I need you by my side. Please, Samuel." Nash paused briefly before sighing deeply. "I'll catch the next flight." That afternoon, beneath a gray sky threatening rain, Adam stood anxiously outside Vivian Reed's mansion in the heart of the French Quarter. The house was grand yet decaying, wrapped in climbing ivy, exuding a melancholy grandeur. He hesitated, heart hammering, as Nash joined him quietly. "Ready?" Nash asked gently, placing a reassuring hand on Adam's shoulder. Adam nodded firmly. 25 years overdue. He knocked firmly. Moments later, the heavy wooden door creaked open slowly, revealing Vivian, tall, dignified, silver-streaked. Hair neatly styled. Her eyes narrowed suspiciously upon seeing the strangers. "Ms. Reed?" Adam asked, voice controlled but urgent. "We need to speak with you. It's about Eva." Vivian's expression hardened instantly. "Eva's not here." "Please leave. It's about Lily Hudson," Adam pressed forcefully. "My daughter. Eva is my daughter. You raised her in secret. I deserve answers." Vivian paled visibly, hesitating before stepping back, allowing them inside. The mansion's interior was dim, ornate furniture covered in dust, walls adorned with faded photographs of Vivian's younger days on stage. She led them into a grand yet neglected sitting room, gesturing coldly toward the sofas. "Speak quickly," Vivian commanded, voice taut, clearly rattled. "Eva Sinclair is Lily Hudson," Adam began, voice trembling slightly. "She vanished from our home 25 years ago, and you've kept her hidden ever since." "Why?" Vivian sat rigidly, tension etched deeply into her features. Her voice was quiet yet firm. "Eva came to me under circumstances I never fully understood. A man brought her, a stranger, one stormy night. He said she was in danger and asked me to keep her safe, to raise her secretly. He provided money each month, asking only my silence. I never knew your family, Mr. Hudson. I did what I thought was best. Who was this man?" Nash interjected sharply, scribbling notes quickly. Vivian shook her head slowly, eyes distant. "He never gave a name. He only said it was vital Eva remained hidden." Adam's heart twisted painfully. "This man stole my daughter. He took Lily from us, destroyed our lives. Vivian, please, you must remember more." Vivian's eyes softened slightly, seeing Adam's desperation. "I have no reason to lie. Eva became my world, my daughter. I raised her with love, protected her fiercely. I feared knowing more could endanger her." Adam's voice cracked, tears threatening. "Eva Lily deserves the truth, and I deserve to know why my child was taken." Vivian hesitated, eyes filling with quiet sorrow. "There's something else. Eva wears a necklace, a golden pendant. The stranger gave it to me that night, telling me it belonged to her family. Eva never took it off. Recently, I discovered it contains a key, but I never knew its purpose." Adam's pulse quickened. "A key?" Vivian nodded slowly. "There's a hidden room upstairs where I kept things from the past. Perhaps answers await there." Upstairs, Eva entered the mansion quietly, unaware of visitors downstairs. Her heart felt troubled since the strange encounter at her show, curiosity driving her home. Quietly ascending the staircase, she overheard muffled voices, Vivian's tense tone, and two unfamiliar male voices. Her heart skipped nervously. Eva paused, breath shallow, leaning closer to hear clearly. Adam's voice carried upward, speaking her name, her real name, Lily. The word pierced Ava's heart sharply, confusion gripping her tightly. She rushed silently to Vivian's private room, where she had seen her caretaker often disappear mysteriously. Entering, she found shelves lined with boxes, old albums, and locked cabinets. Trembling, she touched her necklace, the pendant containing the tiny key Vivian mentioned. Downstairs, Adam rose abruptly. "Take us to this room, now." Vivian nodded, reluctantly guiding them upstairs. Eva heard footsteps approaching, panic rising swiftly. Desperately, she removed the necklace, fingers shaking, inserting the tiny key into a small ornate box tucked. Hidden behind stacks of dusty papers, the key turned softly. The lid clicked open. Eva gasped, breath caught painfully, eyes wide as the box revealed old photographs, letters, and documents. She picked up a photograph with trembling fingers, heart hammering violently. It showed a young couple smiling happily, a younger Adam and Melissa, holding a small laughing child, unmistakably herself. The footsteps halted just outside the door. Eva turned sharply, heart racing, clutching the photo tightly as Vivian, Adam, and Nash appeared, frozen in shock. Ava's eyes met Adam's instantly, recognition finally, undeniably clear. Adam stepped forward slowly, eyes glistening with tears. "Lily." Eva stared helplessly, tears filling her eyes. "Who are you?" "Who am I?" Adam's voice trembled deeply. "I'm your father, Lily. You were taken from us 25 years ago. Vivian kept you hidden all this time." Eva turned to Vivian, betrayed yet desperate for explanation. "Is this true?" Vivian lowered her eyes shamefully. "Eva, I only wanted to protect you." "But yes, he is your father." Ava's knees weakened, tears streaming freely, overwhelmed entirely. Adam moved slowly, carefully approaching, touching her shoulder gently. "Lily, it's me. Daddy's here. You're finally home." Eva sobbed softly, confusion blending with deep longing. Adam wrapped his arms around her cautiously, holding his lost daughter for the first time in decades, his heart flooding with relief and agony intertwined. Detective Nash stood silently, emotion evident in his tired eyes. "There's still a missing piece. Vivian who brought Lily here? The truth must come out completely." Vivian nodded hesitantly. "In that box, perhaps it reveals more." "I feared knowing might hurt Eva, but perhaps the time has finally come." Adam held Eva tightly, whispering gently, "We'll discover the truth together, Lily. No more secrets. You deserve to know everything." Eva nodded softly, eyes locked onto the mysterious box, trembling fingers slowly opening another hidden compartment. Inside lay an envelope sealed carefully, aged paper crinkling beneath her touch. She glanced nervously at Adam and Vivian, heart heavy yet determined. Taking a deep breath, she broke the seal carefully, preparing to confront the answers that had eluded her for a lifetime. No more secrets. The truth, hidden within the shadows for 25 long years, was finally within reach. Ava's hands trembled as she carefully opened the aged envelope. Adam stood close beside her, heart pounding anxiously. Detective Nash and Vivian watched in tense silence, each holding their breath. Eva unfolded a series of faded handwritten pages, Robert Morgan's confession, finally bringing clarity to decades of darkness. Adam's eyes widened, recognizing the familiar handwriting instantly. Eva began reading aloud, her voice shaking with emotion. "If anyone ever reads this, it's because I'm no longer alive. For years, I carried the guilt and truth deep inside me. Lily Hudson was never supposed to disappear permanently. The original plan was simple. I wanted to punish Adam Hudson, a man I envied profoundly. Adam had everything: success, fame, and a perfect family. Watching him so happy while I struggled was unbearable. That night at his birthday party, I hired a desperate man to temporarily take Lily to scare Adam, to shake his perfect life. But everything went wrong. The man panicked and fled California, taking Lily with him. I lost control completely. It was never meant to go that far. Months later, the man called me from New Orleans, demanding money. Terrified, I went to meet him. He gave me Lily back, alive, confused, unharmed. I couldn't face Adam. I couldn't admit my role. So I chose Vivian Reed, a woman known for her discretion. I paid her monthly, demanding secrecy, pretending Lily's life depended on it. I threatened Vivian, forcing her silence. But the truth haunted me until my final breath. Ava's voice cracked as tears blurred her eyes. Adam felt a surge of anger, grief, and a strange relief as the truth finally emerged. Vivian lowered her head, shameful tears slipping quietly down her cheeks. "I'm so sorry," Vivian whispered. Brokenly, "Eva, I should have told you everything sooner. I believed Robert's lies, feared for your safety. Forgive me, please." Eva stepped forward gently, placing a forgiving hand on Vivian's shoulder. "I understand you wanted to protect me, but now the truth is finally free." She turned slowly, facing Adam. Tears streamed down his weathered face. Decades of torment finally releasing their painful grip. Adam finally embraces Ava, recognizing her as Lily, the daughter he has searched for over 25 years. Overcome with emotion, father and daughter find instant, healing peace in each other's arms. 2 days later, Eva meets her birth mother, Melissa. Their tearful reunion dissolves decades of grief and completes the family's long-awaited restoration. Back in Santa Monica, Adam and Eva stand on the very beach where she vanished, exchanging a symbolic seashell and vows of enduring hope. Life settles into a new normal. Eva rebuilds bonds with her parents. Adam dismantles his obsession, and Detective Nash toasts the hard-won closure. Yet peace is fragile. While Adam and Eva share laughter at a family dinner, Vivian Reed, now relieved of her secrets, receives a chilling phone call. An unknown voice warns that Robert Morgan never acted alone and deeper mysteries remain. The line goes dead, leaving Vivian shaken and hinting that the past still holds dangerous hidden accomplices.